McCartney comes up with beautiful melodies. This is a really old one. Well, depends. An early one for him, 1968, was when he was messing around with junk from leftover or discovered or created, I guess, during their trip to India in the summer, February, I believe it was actually of that year. And it is just a short little, it's 2 8-measure phrases with some kind of cool sentimental lyrics. They decided not to put it on the White Album. They had too many songs. They decided not to put it on Abbey Road. They had too many songs. So in 1970, when it was time for solo albums, he did it twice on his first solo album, the McCartney one. And the one called Junk is a vocal version that is kind of shorter than an instrumental version. The Singalong Junk, he just elaborated, had a few more instruments, piano, mellotron came in and played it, just showing what a great melody it was. In this lesson, we're just going to really take a look first at the accompaniment for the singing version. So pretty simply what I did right there, it's pretty easy, but there are a couple of slightly tricky things. The strumming is very typical McCartney, the same type of stuff he does in Rocky Raccoon. Sometimes he hits bass notes, sometimes he grabs strings, and sometimes he just strums lightly. He usually does it with just his index finger, strumming downs and ups. Of course, it'd be this one with his left hand. But you can do this anyway. We'll talk a little bit more specifically about some of the right hand options, and then we'll just take a look at the chords. And somewhere down the line, I might do a little bit more elaborate version of instrumental things that we could do with this. And we'll, if we get to that, it will be the Singalong Junk lesson. But in this lesson, how to play junk. Oh, wait a minute, wrong song. We can take a look first at the chords, and what we have is a nice little descending bass going on in the melody, starting with an F sharp minor chord, and we really only need the top 4 strings of the F sharp minor. So we need a 3-string bar. The full F sharp minor would, of course, be this: full bar at the 2nd, and your 3rd and 4th fingers on the 4th and 5th strings at the 4th fret. But the mini version, the 4-string reduction, will be just a half a bar. Now for this we want to use a hinge bar, not like an extended full bar, which makes it really hard to reach the rest of your notes. So you need to make sure that this knuckle is bent back at about a 90-degree angle, and then this knuckle is hyperextended, pressing down firmly on the top 3 strings. That's it. This is a perfect, for most people, this part of their finger, this top joint, is perfect for barring 3 strings. So in this case, that's what we do here. A 3-string bar at the 2nd fret, and then F sharp in the bass on the 4th fret of the D string. Now, nowadays when McCartney, what we hear in this song is a descending bass with the chords barely changing. So we hear F sharp minor. Nowadays McCartney plays the 2nd chord, and this is not how I'm going to show you, with just an E sharp in the bass, just the bass lowering a half step. And then lowering another half step with E in the bass. Now we do need a 4-string bar. This chord we can call this one F sharp minor with E in the bass. We could call this one F sharp minor with E sharp in the bass. And then followed by D major 7, which is the same 3-string bar with just a D in the bass. What McCartney does with his right hand in a lot of situations is sometimes grabs the strings, and this is what I'm going to recommend, even though he doesn't do this as much as I do. Grabbing all 4 strings with your 4 fingers on the first beat of the measure, and that sets up the strumming that's going to follow in the rest of the measure. So we would grab these 4, and then frequently just go down, up, down on beats 2 and 3. We're in 3/4 time. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. 1, 2, and 3. Sometimes he would do something like this, bringing in a single note or an up on the and of 1. We open up with this F sharp minor chord. In the chord segment, I showed it just as the reduction of the full bar, but we also have another note added to this, and that is the high A in there. And so the first 4 measures are these chords that have the descending bass, going from F sharp to E to D, then we played a little melody on the D major 7 chord. So just starting to walk through it, what we do in the first measure is, what I like to do on this one is grab the whole thing on the first beat, and then on the and of 1, use your index finger to catch just the second string. And then just a couple of strums. And down, and the one on the third beat could be a little softer. Or maybe more on the middle strings. Notice that we don't necessarily need to hear that high A again. Now, this change is a little cluttered, but getting, your 3 fingers have to land on the 3rd and 4th frets. And here I would either grab them again or strum them. And your 4th finger is going to move up from G sharp to A and back on the and of 1.